So let's just start by closing our eyes and taking a few deep breaths, conscious breaths, breathing at your own pace, and putting your attention onto your breath. Letting my voice just gently guide you. And on every exhale, we release anything we might have been thinking about or doing before coming into our sacred container that we're creating right now. And on every inhale, we're feeling our body. On our inhale, we're feeling the breath of life. Breath is life. Our life began with our first breath. And our physical life, our life in this body, ends with our last breath. And I invite you to drop in and think about what the winter solstice, December 21st, means to you. Are there prior winter solstice events or experiences that you've participated in that were especially meaningful for you? What spiritual beliefs or even astrological beliefs do you have? What does this time mean to you? And here at Love Coach Academy, we honor all faiths, all religions, and atheism and agnostic. We don't promote any specific faith, but we honor all. And so as people share, it's not to convert, it's not to debate, it's just to go, oh, this is the faith that this particular person uses. Oh, this is the way this person sees the world. As love coaches, as peaceful people, we're curious about what others believe and why they believe and how that belief might serve them or support them. So, opening our eyes and asking who would like to share what the solstice means to you. Who would like to share with the group? Anybody have anything come up for them? Okay, Mimi. Can't hear you.
How about now?
Great.
Okay. Renewal and shimmering darkness. So really enjoying the expansion of feeling comfortable and confident in darkness. And having a lot of volume there that I used to just keep it shut off, and now I feel like I have a lot of volume there. And then the renewal, like this, the declutter. So I feel like this is a good time of year to release and really dance in darkness, and then welcome the renewal.
Beautiful. And I like that phrase, dancing in the darkness, because so often we judge everything. You know, we judge that dark is bad and light is good. We judge that there are negative feelings. No, there's no negative feelings. There's just uncomfortable feelings. And so learning to dance in the dark, I love that expression. Thank you, Mimi. Allison and your beautiful son.
Morning, beautiful people. This is I think most of you have met my son, Jory. He wanted to join us today. He's 10. And I wanted to say that he's very conscious that he's the only child in the group today. And if anybody feels uncomfortable sharing anything, he's very respectful of everybody's boundaries. So just he always wants to make sure everybody feels comfortable. He's kind of old for his age. So anyway, he always likes to make sure that everybody's feeling comfortable with a younger person, and feel free to message me if there's any issues. For me, I'm always reminded of what it felt like to be holding the potential of new life before my children were born in the womb. And this time of darkness to me is always a chance, even though we can never remember exactly what it was like for ourselves to be in the womb, I can remember that feeling of carrying that potential for new life and the miracle that we get to come out of the darkness into the light of the world, and yet still hold each other and still feel that connection. Because when the umbilical cord is cut, as anyone who's ever had a child knows, it doesn't mean that it's actually cut. It's just the physical cord is cut, but you feel connected. And I think it's a chance for us to reaffirm our connection with all human beings at this time, as we rebirth from the darkness back into the light of the new year. And the beautiful possibilities that are always available when we choose to go inward and then come outward again, perhaps gifted with more promise of change and more promise of growth and a chance to connect deeply with each other.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And I want to say I am delighted. The moment I saw that Jory was with us, I got really excited because he's a master teacher for us. So Jory, thank you for being with us. Really, really cool to have you with us. Thank you so much. Yeah. And who knows, maybe Hannah, if your son's around, if Zemri is around, feel free to invite him. He's also a master teacher for all of us. Maybe one more share of what the solstice means. And also a reminder for any of you who are new, there's a chat function. If you take your cursor down to the bottom, you'll see there's a chat box. And that's where you can either message everyone or you can message somebody specific. So like if you want to send a private message to Allison, or once you've opened your chat box, you'll see at the bottom, that's where you choose if you want to send a message to everyone or to a specific person. And so sometimes we communicate with each other that way. Anybody else want to share, one more person, maybe what the solstice means to you? Deborah Haviland. You're up, Deborah.
Yeah, unmute. Okay. Yeah, for me, it seems like there is so much in this creation about darkness and light, and even what we're learning here in compassionate communications, you know, how to really be with our own shadow or somebody else's and bring more light into it, to bring consciousness, to bring awareness. And I feel so grateful driving around at night and seeing all the beautiful lights that people have taken the time to put up, and, you know, just different ways that we share, getting together with friends around the fireplace, lighting candles. I would say this is the time when we can go within and open up to the brighter light within, and just keep working on our spiritual path that aligns us with the light of consciousness.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you very much, Deborah. Thank you. Well, that's a good segue for us. I'm going to lead a little meditation now, with the purpose being to really drop in, and we're going to look at what is the shadow inside of us that we want to acknowledge. Is there any habit that we want to adjust or release and bring the light in? So that's where we're going to go. So again, I want to invite everybody to close your eyes and go back into breathing. And in Love Coach Academy, We recognize that there is nobody is good or bad. Nobody is right or wrong. Nobody is broken. We are all spiritual beings having a human experience. And in this human experience, we are in animal bodies, and we're living in the illusion of separation. It appears that we're separate. It's just me and my body separated from the world. Everything else is separate from me. And it's an illusion. In fact, there is no blank space. It's just the illusion of blank space. The scientific truth is that we're living in an ever-changing sea of molecules, changing form. Spiritually, that could be seen as the oneness of us all. That we're all drops in the ocean. We're all rays of light. We are not the sun, but we are of the sun, and we are connected to the sun. We are not the ocean, but we're part of the ocean, connected to the ocean. And so there's no bad drop of water. There's no bad ray of light. But as spiritual beings having this human experience, part of that experience is we make choices that sometimes have hurtful consequences. We develop habits that perhaps maybe initially started as a way to relax or to cope with pain or to survive or to feel safe. But sometimes those habits have become no longer healthy or serving us, or sometimes the consequences of those habits may outweigh the benefits. And for humanity, the great epidemic of the human race is shame. Often we feel shame or guilt because we didn't live up to our values. We didn't live up to the values of someone else or our culture or belief systems that we've been raised with or surrounded by. So, in the next moment of silence for the next minute, what's a habit or a way of being or a choice you've made that you regret or you have remorse around, that you're willing to acknowledge? And in acknowledging, not from a place of guilt or shame, but acknowledging for the purpose of bringing it to the light of consciousness and either changing it or entirely releasing it. Appreciating the courage it takes for us to look inside of ourselves. And take as much time as you like. But when you're clear on what it is you want to acknowledge and release, you can open your eyes. So most everybody's eyes are back open. And in a moment, we're going to go into breakout rooms where you can kind of share more privately. But would anybody be willing to share what came up for you with the group? And as that person shares, remember, we all are sacred witnesses. There's no right or wrong, but we appreciate the courage and we support that person with whatever it is they're wanting to release or to change. Is anybody willing to share? Any courageous souls? Anaprabha, thank you.
Oh, hi everybody. Well, what came up for me strongly, which is kind of a surprise in some ways. Well, I was married and on the solstice, and so kind of what I want to let go of is the shame and the guilt of it not working, and that's just really that dream of wanting that wedding marriage, you know, with my son and my daughter to continue, and it didn't work, and I still feel like shame around it and guilt that I didn't choose the right man again. Mm-hmm. And I see where I can kind of cover it up with the trauma from it, as I think kind of put me in a survival space a little bit of some guilt and shame around this. And I'm still looking at what that is, but I'm really ready to let go of shame and guilt around that not working, and the busyness that I somehow cover my pain and trauma with. I'd like to let go of that as well. So thank you.
It's all twinkle. In Love Coach Academy, we twinkle. Just really, as we twinkle you, Anaprabha, we are knowing it to be so. You are.
Thank you.
Thank you for the courage of sharing that and the beautiful self-reflection. That was powerful. Thank you. Beautiful modeling. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Would one more person like to share before we go into breakout rooms? Anybody else want to share what came up for you? Going once. Going twice. Mandy.
I'll try to figure out how to make it short, but these meditations are like bringing up past pain from a relationship I had previously, and that I feel so unresolved, and I don't even know how to heal what happened. But it was basically I had a massage client 4 years ago that I met, and he had told me that he was divorced, and after a few sessions, like, we really had a strong connection, and I started up an intimate relationship with him because I liked him so much, and I fell in love with him. And then I found out later, I don't remember how much later, but I found out he had lied to me and he was still married. And I was already in love with him, and I would never have conceived of getting involved with a married man. It was his lie that kind of started it. And I feel regret over continuing the relationship because it just left me feeling empty and rejected and abandoned, and it brought up so much pain because over the course of like a 3-year thing that I had with this person, keeping it a secret and out of respect for his life, because I was already in love with him, you know, I had to find out that it felt like I didn't matter to him at all. Like, I wasn't a priority at all. Like, I wasn't even worth him telling me Merry Christmas or Happy Birthday or anything like that. And it was just so devastating. And this connection was so strong that I moved for him across state lines to be closer when he moved. And then he just blew me off so badly. And I felt stupid. I was like, what did I do? Like, why did I put myself in this position to be rejected like this and treated like this? And it felt like it caused me mental damage getting blown off like that, because when somebody gives you a silent treatment, you're sitting there with all your thoughts like, okay, do I not matter to this person? Like, they don't even value me or find me worthy of their attention to even tell me, like, take the whole month of December and not even tell me Merry Christmas. And when I moved for this person, they knew that I loved him, and it's just devastating. And there's been this undercurrent of grief and devastation that I've been living with this whole entire year. Even though I've had a new relationship, it's just this unresolved grief. And my current beloved does know about it, but it's hard for me to talk about it because I don't want to upset him. But just having to deal with these emotions, a feeling like I didn't matter, was really damaging to my spirit. And I just wish I could heal it, and I don't know how, and I've been trying. And these meditations just really brought it up today. I thought that maybe that person would try to redeem himself over the last few months, and he hasn't. It's just silent treatment. And so it just continues to hurt me, and I wish I could just turn it off. But yeah, I just wish I could heal that pain.
Mandy, thank you so much for this extraordinary sharing that you're giving. And I want us just to take a minute that Mandy is beautifully representing any pain that any of us have felt when we loved someone and they weren't able to love us the way we wanted to be loved. And I'm guessing, just by raise of hands, who's had an experience like that in your life? And Mandy, you're bringing this up is so beautiful, because as we feel your pain, we remember our pain. And in the spirit of the winter solstice, this is where we bring our deep pain, Anuprabha's pain that she's been carrying all these years, your pain that you've been carrying, and that human part of us waiting for somebody outside of ourselves, for that other person to show up, for that other person to love us the way we've loved them. And we wait, and we wait, and we wait. And the longer we wait, the more we fall into the pit of blame and shame. Shame, what's wrong with me? Blame, what's wrong with that other person? Some of us go more into shame. Some of us go more into blame. Some of us bounce back and forth. And truly, the healing comes when we stop looking for that person to do what we want them to do or to be the way we want them to be. And we expose the wound, and the wound is real, and we expose our pain, and the pain hurts, to the light of love. For Christians, it might be to Jesus, or to Mother Mary, or to the Holy Spirit. For Buddhists, it might be the practice of non-attachment. And for each faith or religion, there's a different way of doing it. For some, connecting to Mother Earth. For some, connecting to Father Sky. But as we expose our wound, we open ourselves to whatever you can believe, the light of love. We find the light of love even in this darkest day. We fill the wound, with our own love, with self-love. That's the practice. And if we notice our mind going back to, but if only he called me, if only he'd reach out, if only he'd apologize. We take a breath and we recognize that beautiful longing. It's a beautiful thing we long for. We go back to higher power. Fill me up. Light of love, light of Christ, whatever you believe, filling it with ourself, filling it with a higher power, filling it with what Rumi called the eternal beloved. Our human beloveds come and go. Even our pets, our dogs, our cats that we love so much, they do come and they do go. And our body will come and go. But there's an eternal beloved, which has an infinite number of names and ways of being experienced, that's always there. And we fill ourselves with that, and we cultivate that relationship. Does that resonate for you, Mandy?
Definitely.
And I so appreciate you modeling. And so I want to ask all of us to give Mandy a really good long twinkle. And as we're twinkling you, Mandy, we are knowing that you are healing. We are knowing that you are moving into the empowered, magnificent street angel that you are, shining your light of love on the world in the amazing ways that you do. And may all that good energy, all that good karma from the light of love you shine out into the world come right back to you tenfold.
Thank you all.
Well, with that, I'm going to open up our breakout rooms. There are going to be 3 or 4 people in each breakout room. Our pod leaders are Ana Prabha, Debbie Garcia, Laura, and Mandy. And some of you, just a couple of you, Allison and Jordy, Greta, I have not put you into a breakout room because I'm going to stay working with you in the main room, okay? But everybody else, when I click open rooms, you'll need to click join room and that'll take you into your room. What I'd like to do is let's do 20 minutes of what's come up for everybody. So pod leaders, keep track of the time so that everybody has a chance to share. And so because you're gonna have 3 or 4 people per room, that'll be about 5 or 6 minutes for each person to share, and I'll let each pod leader decide how you want to manage it. If any of you need support, you can still send me a message. Otherwise, I'm going to bring everybody back at 11 o'clock Pacific time. Okay, so we've got 21 minutes. God bless you, Mandy.
Thank you.
And does anybody have any urgent questions before we go into our breakout rooms? Okay. All right. I am opening the rooms. So please click join room. Other than Allison, Mark, and Greta, you're going to stay in the main room with me here. Again, you're going to find click join room. And Debbie, looks like you still need to join your room. There we go. Hi, everybody. You're the ones that I thought I would kind of work with you. Any chance to work with Jordy, I gotta say. But Mark and Greta, since this is your first time coming into our group here, that's why I thought it'd be nice to kind of connect with you too. Can everybody hear me okay? Beautiful. So again, this is a safe container, a safe space for us to share. I am going to pause the recording, so anything you share is private. So So welcoming people as they all come back.
There we go. Hello.
There's everybody.
Hey, everybody.
By the way, I should have mentioned before, when you're in your breakout groups, you do have privacy. None of that is recorded. And even the people that I worked with who stayed with me, we paused the recording. So anything you share in the breakout groups is always private.
That's good to know.
Yeah. We don't have to hear from anybody, but do any of our pod leaders want to share anything significant that took place in your pods? Anything that you'd like to share with the group? Mandy, and then Anuprabha.
I thought we had a really beautiful group session, and I just want to thank my group for the vulnerability and the gentleness and sharing empathy. Like, we all took little turns, and I thought it was just perfect. And yeah, I have gratitude that, Hannah and Michaela, like, you can totally are great at empathy. You can resonate with how I'm feeling as a woman getting heartbroken, and like, so just I thought it was really beautiful.
That was the Earth Angel group, not definitely the Earth Angel group. Yeah, wonderful. Anuprabha.
Yeah, we had a beautiful sister connection in our group, and Mimi started, and we're really, again, resonated around when this connection of creating safety and tenderness around having relationships with our children. And she was talking about her son, and really wanting to create a much more, instead of an oppositional connection, it's really tenderness and connection. And I think we called him in because right as that he called. So that's why she had to leave, because he called in. And I said, well, okay, we did our work here, called in the boy, right?
Wow, that's very cool.
That was very cool. That was super sweet. And, just working with this trust aspect, right? And then we also went into the strength of Patricia, who just had really looking at ourselves as women, and really like grounding with Mother Earth, really grounding in that energy, and really like opening up our hearts to what is next, what is my next step, and having the courage to take that step forward out of a codependent relationship of 12 years and taking steps, and how much courage that takes, but really wanting to experience her heart full and open, and the trust that takes. And so those are what that gentleness, safety and tenderness, I would say, was a theme, and trust for us. That was very beautiful. I really thank my sisters for sharing so deeply.
That was the Wise Woman group. The Wise Woman group.
Thank you.
Laura.
Okay, and I was in the hot men group. My little hot men group was amazing. Michael Greenhouse was in it, and he had to go because it was his mother's birthday, but he shared deeply about how the darkness helps him to feel that safety. And it's like we talked about like a warm hug. And I think for the four of us, because Rob was in it during that time, because he's working right now, but Rob came in, and everyone went, because of the safety and maybe just the feeling of the coziness of winter, right? There's that cozy feeling. I think everybody went a little deeper than they thought they could go, and really expressed some deeper vulnerabilities and their new intentions. And it was just absolutely lovely, like Anuprabha said, and Mandy. It was the same kind of like, just, like that,
Thank you for taking such good care of those hot men. Debbie, do you want to share?
Yes. So it was a beautiful experience. There was authentic sharing and connection, but we did a group intention in releasing shame, and that was our seemed to be going around today. So we were releasing shame, and we were making powerful empowerment intentions for the new year, and stepping into knowing that we've got this, that we truly are stepping into our self-love. So in making powerful group intentions in our journey of self-love and expression. And through a space of such gratitude for the dark, because without it, we wouldn't know our spark. And this dark is our opportunity to see that we need to see within us, that we actually get to then, and I love Anna Prava's word, courage, the courage to step into who we truly are, and seeing the dark for what it really is, our way of knowing how to take the next step forward. You know what you don't want, and dark gives us an opportunity to see that.
Yeah.
Make a different choice. But
Thank you, Debbie. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And you're absolutely right. Absolutely. What a beautiful reminder for all of us. Thank you. In our pod, I was fortunate to meet Mark, who this is his first time with us, and all the way from Munich, Germany, which is kind of cool for me. He's got a German wife, and my wife was German, and I went to Munich with her a couple times. And then Allison and her beautiful son, Jory, and just heartfelt connection and sharing. And Mark brought up the power of surrender, working with surrender. And had a really nice conversation about learning to let go and let God. And when we say let go and let God, it doesn't have to be God. You can call it life. You can call it the Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it, but letting go and letting that which is greater than ourself flowing through us, really learning the practice of surrender. So thank you for that, Mark. That was really cool. And Jory shared some of his wisdom, and Jory and Allison helped save a hummingbird this morning. So they brought hummingbird medicine into their world, and I think into our world as well too. So thank you. All right, so we're going to do a final meditation for today, and then we'll go back into our breakout groups. It won't be done a little bit earlier than usual today. I'm imagining it won't be done closer to 11:30 or 11:40. So once again, I invite everybody to close your eyes and go back into taking some deep breaths. Maybe even imagining that it's like clearing the chalkboard of your mind, clearing out any thoughts, and just using Mark's word of surrender. Let's now really open ourselves to receive. We surrender to how life wants to flow through us. We surrender to be open to receive the answer to the question, what wants to happen? What wants to take place in my life? What wants to take place in my world? And as we have released and continue during this solstice time to release old habits, old patterns, old belief systems that no longer serve us, we create spaciousness inside of our being. We create spaciousness inside of our bodies. And we invite life, love, Holy Spirit, whatever you believe, we invite that light of love to fill the empty spaces. What do we call in? We're going to be silent for a couple of minutes. And I invite you during that silence to either call in that which you seek or clear your mind and listen to what wants to fill that empty space inside of you. And when you're ready, opening your eyes, coming back into the room. I'll actually share what came up for me, followed by my puppy asking me, "Are you done yet, Dad? Can we go play now?" What came up for me is health and well-being, really dedicating this new year to a much greater focus on my own personal health and well-being. So that's what's wanting to come into my consciousness, into my being, into my body. Would anybody else like to share with the group before we go to pods? Daniel.
Yeah, what came up for me too is a real sense of strong health and vitality, and just really getting in touch with my potential and purpose from that place of health and strength and vitality.
Beautiful, beautiful. Hang on, I'm actually going to I'm going to shift the rooms around a little bit because we had a couple people leave. So let's do this, and let's do this. Okay. Anybody else want to share? One more group share? Deborah, have it.
I'll share. I really love the word courage, and I've been working with that too. So I appreciated Anuprabha sharing about that. And so I've been really affirming, you know, I have the courage to just hear my highest guidance and bring into life what I'm being guided to do. The courage to be as loving and compassionate as I can possibly be. Like Amaji is a model for me to be the love that everyone out there is needing, more love, understanding, listening. And then also for making some changes right now, having the courage to go towards my next step, and it be maybe, yeah, just that courage to take the next step. And I need to move, so finding more affordable housing and affirming I can find it, I can do it, I've got it.
Blessings to you. Let's all twinkle Deborah with lots of courage and finding the perfect home, finding the perfect new place to live. All right, we are going to go into our breakout groups. I've kind of shifted things around because we had a couple people leave, so you might be in a slightly different breakout room. But there's going to be 4 people in each room now. So let's imagine, let's see, it's 11:20. So we'll do 20 minutes. So I'm going to bring everybody back for a final closure at 11:40. So you'll have 20 minutes. So that's approximately 5 minutes per person. And again, just sharing what came up for you, and also each pod leader, you can figure it out. Anuprabha, I'm putting you in with Laura's group. So there'll be 2 pod leaders in that group. So I'm opening up the breakout rooms and want to invite you again to click. Allison and Mark, I'm going to stay with you guys so you don't have a breakout room to go into. And everybody else, please click join. And Allison and Mark, I need to run and put my wash into the dryer. I'll be back in about 90 seconds. I don't want to tap the washing machine. Okay.
Mark, I just wanted to say my father's family are all from New York City, and so I felt really connected to your story. I just want to commend you for your courage in traveling and experiencing all sorts of new things that inevitably come when you travel, because travel makes us vulnerable, but it also makes us very open. Because we don't feel 100% certain of what's going to happen, and that's true in life just in general. But I think it's almost turning up the volume on life when you travel, because you kind of have to expect the unexpected. And I think it's so broadening, and it's something I really want to give my son when we can. We live in an expensive place, so our travel has been a bit limited. We live in Silicon Valley, but just inspired by your story and by just your open-heartedness. So thank you so much for sharing earlier. It was such a pleasure to get to know you a little bit.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Traveling is something we often have to push ourselves to do, because it's frightening sometimes, you know, and we only buy a one-way ticket. We never know how long we're going to stay. So it's always kind of, we don't book in advance.
Wow.
Oh.
So,
I find that so inspiring, Mark. Thank you for giving me the gift of just thinking about that as a possibility. Jory desperately wants to see the world, and it's a real priority for us to try to make that happen, to take him places and let him experience different cultures. He's so wanting to be open and learn new languages and eat new foods, and he wants to ride on trains everywhere. Have you ridden on some? I bet you have had the experience of riding on a lot of trains in your travels.
Yeah, we have trains, boats, planes, everything. There's like anything you can think of, pretty much. Your son, say his name again. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's Jory, Jori, and it's short for Jorian. His full name is Jorian Shea, which means abundance of magic.
Oh, nice. Jory, so watching you, it reminds me of my son when he was your age. But I also enjoyed your story and how you were able to connect what happened today with where you had to surrender. There was a lot of wisdom to learn out here, and I appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When my dog had we have a game that we play. This is Jasmine Bear, and this is her little tiger, and she loves to play with the tiger and take it. She puts it in her mouth, and then she plays keep away from me, and I have to like run and try and get the tiger from her. And she's so fast, but of course it's pretty significant stuffed animal. So keeping it in her mouth and being able to run away from me is like the game that we play. So we were just playing that game for a minute as I was on my way to the laundry room. Would love to hear what each of you, what came up. What are you calling in, or what do you hear or imagine life wants to bring into your empty spaces, into your empty place? Anybody want to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, Mark.
What came up for me was, for this coming year, is gratitude. And it came up in the way that most of my working life and New York City life and shortly thereafter was...
Friends, start the recording again. And again, I just want to say, Jory, you are always welcome. It's so nice to have your energy. And if you want to bring friends, if you have a friend that you think would enjoy our class or our group, or certainly Zemery is always welcome. Or maybe we can arrange a time when both Zemerys, your Zemery and Hannah's Zemery, can join us again. That was a very
Mark, that was a magical experience, because we have, my younger son is named Zemery and he has red hair, and one of the other Love Coach Academy participants, Hannah, has a son who's also got red hair and his name's Zemery, and there's not that many Zemerys that I've ever heard of, so they have been corresponding ever since then.
They have. Oh, yeah. Good. Yeah, that was really, Deborah's still here. That was really one of the most magical things. It was just really amazing. And that we even ended up in the same room together, and the whole thing was really special. Welcome back, everybody. So good to see all of you. So again, I think I'll just turn it over briefly to our pod leaders to share any highlights, and then we'll go. Debbie Garcia, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure.
Surprise.
We had a exceptionally uplifting experience. We really shifted our power together with gratitude, and I had a really exciting thing I was able to share that happened like in the split second of going into the pod. So I was able to have a space of compersion, which is celebration of others' accomplishments and successes. And we all just went into our intention setting, and we went into surrender before. Now we're in an intention setting, and we celebrated each other and our accomplishments and who we are. And we shared our hearts, and Deb's still dancing. Yeah, we're doing the happy dance. Like, we just got together and lifted each other's energy up with gratitude and joy. And remember to be in celebration of everybody where they're at, and being their hope. Because on the opposite side of compersion, rather than comparison, we're able to see the hope. Because if somebody else can do that very thing that you're thinking about doing, rather than feeling like anything other than compersion and celebratory feelings, think of it as that they're your hope of what's possible. And I want to appreciate everybody who's been here today. I'm actually going to have to go myself, but I wanted to just, Scott, I want to also go into a happy birthday moment with you, because we're not going to be with you on your birthday. And if we could all, before we leave, she may have left, all of us step into a happy birthday space with Scott right now, and just let's celebrate and be in compersion for Scott and all he's brought forward to this world.
Scott?
Yes.
Let's sing.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Scott.
Happy birthday to you. Love you, Scott. Love you.
I love you so much.
That was a unique harmonic experience, the way the different, but it actually was kind of a cool harmony. And I'm especially excited that my little buddy Zemery joined Jason and Hannah. Good to see you, Zemery. We were just talking about you.
Gosh,
Allison and Jory are there, and we were just talking about you. So thank you, everybody. That was really cool. Well, I guess since the spotlight's on me for a moment, I'll just talk about my group, and then we'll go to Mandy. Mark brought up gratitude, that what really came in for him was gratitude. So Mark, you and Debbie Garcia, definitely want to connect you guys. She leads these amazing gratitude challenges and experiences, and definitely check out her channel, Spirituality Gone Wild. I do a lot of Facebook Lives with Debbie now. And Allison and Jory also shared, and what really came up was the joy of being of service to others. Jory has a best friend that is a special needs student, special needs person. And so Jory talked about, being of service and all the different ways that he contributes at his school and with his friend. And and of course, Allison shared about her also joy of giving to others. And so, and we brought in the spirit of Marshall Rosenberg, who one of his lines was, "The greatest joy in life is to contribute to the well-being of others." So that was a little bit about our group. And I'm going to shift the spotlight to Mandy.
Oh. I just wanted to say, with us going into the Christmas season, make sure that you just really, this is just random guidance, like just embrace everybody with love and treat them like it could be the last time you see them, because I'm grappling with my first Christmas without my younger sister, and it's really emotional, and Thanksgiving was really hard. So, I would have known that last Christmas would have been my last with her. So if you get to see people you love, just tell them you love them and hold them and hug them and just share that love with them. You just never know when it's going to be the last time.
God, thank you so much for that reminder, Mandy. Salt Twinkle Mandy. And yeah, and we all can think about our loved ones, including those that are no longer with us.
I don't mean to be so emotional today.
No, it's beautiful, because what
Winter
you're doing,
solstice.
you're helping us all to shift into a higher gear. So thank you for that, Mandy. Thank you for modeling two very important things for us today. Modeling when we're looking to someone outside of ourselves to be a certain way, and the pain that we experience when that happens. That was so powerful. And now modeling for us the remembrance that we never know what's going to happen, and we never know if this is our last Christmas with someone or our last holiday. And also that we can remember those that we've shared holidays with in the past that aren't with us anymore. So thank you for that. I also want to acknowledge now that we have both Zemeries are with us. We have Zemery in Allison's family, and we have Zemery in Jason and Hannah's family. So the two Zemeries have joined us. So magic is afoot. When the two Zemeries are together, anything can happen. Anaprabha, Laura, do you guys want to share a little bit? Either of you or both of you?
Anaprabha.
Okay. Let's go on gallery view here. Yes, we had a really deep sharing. It's interesting because, Scott, I don't know how you always tune into things, but when Laura I went with the Hot Man group, she's like, I'm with the Hot Man group. I'm like, yeah, I want to be with Laura next time, I want Laura. And then you put me in with Laura, and that happened. There, I just want to be in gallery view with everybody. And so that was like, oh, wow, right? That happens fast, because that was, thank you, Goddess, and Scott Katamas. But we kind of worked also with the somatic healing that we've been working with, really, and that is such powerful work. And so really with and the new moon energy of the solstice. The solstice is considered a new moon. It's like an invitation. So often when you're working with invitations, it's inviting in, which is a gentle way of how can we invite in. And so what came up with, like, Laura was this beautiful thing of more love. Like, she kind of talked about having this sign and going more love, and how beautiful to just create more love in our lives, was an overall theme. And in a beautiful phrase, in my defenselessness, my safety lies, which is very beautiful. And the vision, the somatic thing of the heart, just its heart opening up and arms coming and just hugging, the whole world, you know, and everybody. And that was an overriding theme of really the safety that was created in our group to share like the strength of stepping out of a 12-year relationship, detoxifying, letting go, this detoxification of letting go of shame, of guilt, of not being good enough, you know, and just feeling what those feelings are, and the trust, just the trust in ourselves to take that step forward, and the courage that it takes. And we were holding each other and looking at our courage and the safety and creating that safe space.
Thank you.
That's where we were. And it was beautiful, deep sharing. So thank you, all my group, for being so vulnerable and loving and caring.
That's just a beautiful, I think, a beautiful way for us to conclude. You know, thank you, Anuprabha, and thank you, Laura, and thank you, everybody, for being here. And it's true, we will not, next Wednesday is Christmas Day, so we won't have our Wednesday night practice group, but we will be back next Saturday with something special. Thank you, everybody, for just being part of this group. I really love each and every one of you. Yeah. And wishing you a beautiful, let's continue the solstice process. You know, this is a powerful time for setting intentions. So let's really just keep setting our intentions, and let's bring in the new year, bring in the light of love, the light of what the Christ consciousness represents. And let's have just really a very sacred, I don't call it the holidays, I like to call it the holy days. So really honoring this holy day season.
And happy birthday.
And remember, there are only 3 more shopping days until my birthday. Okay, take care, everybody. Have a beautiful weekend. Good night. Goodbye.
Bye.